Happy Monday. Hope you had a great weekend. We're going to get started this Monday with a nice power flow. So on that note, I want you guys just start an easy child's pose position. So knees are going to be as wide as the mat, toes together. Just go ahead and sink those hips all the way back to the heels. Walking those hands out in front and just let that forehead rest on the mat. Really starting to get connected with that breath. Long, deep inhales. And long, slow exhales. And it's good to walk those hands all the way out to the left. Breathing into the right side of the body. Go ahead, walk it all the way out to the right. Still focusing on that breath. And walk it back to center. Walking those hands all the way in. Place them back behind. Big inhale. Draw that chest forward. Puff that chest forward. Draw those shoulders back. Go ahead and let that head drop. Go ahead and walk it back in front, coming into that tabletop position, right? Just want you to bring those fingertips to the side. Just gently rock yourself side to side. Give it a moment for those wrists to warm up. The tops of the hands on the mat, fingertips facing each other. Really still rock it side to side. Keep those arms as straight as you can. Flipping back over, push it forward as far as you can. Gently rocking it back and forth. Once again, keeping those hands firmly planted, arms completely straight as you rock it forward. All right, rocking out some cat cows to get that spine warmed up. So big inhale, drop that belly, look up. And on that exhale, rounding the back, tucking chin and tailbone. Over exaggerate it. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Good, coming to that neutral spine. This time, inhale that right arm up. And exhale, swing it all the way through. Inhale up. Exhale down. One more. Inhale up. And exhale. Swing it all the way through. Gonna take a few breaths here. Back of that shoulder should be on the mat. Bring that right hand back underneath the shoulder. Big inhale, sweep that left arm up towards the ceiling. And exhale, sweep through. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale, sweep through and hold. Good. Bring that left hand back underneath that shoulder. Tuck those toes under. Send those hips back in a downward facing dog. First one may feel a little tight. That's totally okay. Just work on pedaling those feet out. High up onto those tippy toes your way to the front of the mat. Bring those feet as wide as the mat. Slight bend in the knees. Let the head hang. Let gravity do all the work here. Try to bring the weight towards the front of your feet. And give a few breaths. Just kind of allow the back side of those legs to open up a bit. You can gently sway it side to side if you want. Nice heel toe those feet back together. Big inhale, root to rise, sweeping those arms overhead. Gaze up, thumbs, and exhale your way into a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, plant those hands, step it back into plank. Shift that weight forward, lower down to chaturanga, just hovering. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Continue to pedal those feet out. High up onto those tippy toes, tippy toe your way to the front of the mat. Feet as wide as the mat. We're going to do that again. So slight bend in the knees, let the arms hang. Maybe you grab opposite elbows. The crown of the head point straight down towards the ground. Maybe you just gently sway side to side. Good. Gently release those hands. Go ahead, heel toe those feet back together. Big inhale, root to rise, sweeping those arms overhead, gaze up, thumbs. Then exhale into a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, plant those hands, step it all the way back into plank. This time we're going to hold here. Just do some small circles to the right. Up those wrists and shoulders. And switch directions. Nice, shift that weight forward. Lower down to chaturanga. Big inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Continue to pedal out those feet. High up onto those tippy toe your way to the front of the mat. One more time, feet as wide as the mat. Just allow yourself to hang here. You can grab onto opposite elbows. Crown of the head, moving straight towards the ground. And just gently sway side to side. Nice, gently release. Heel toe those feet back together. Big inhale, root to rise, sweeping those arms overhead, gazes at the thumbs. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, plant those hands, step it back in the high plank. Once again, hold here. You're pressing yourself away from the ground. Squeeze in that belly. Remember to breathe. Shift that weight forward. Lower down to chaturanga, just hovering. Big inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Continue to pedal out those feet. Good, feet together, big inhale, lift that right leg nice and high. Let it fall over, knees pointing straight up to the ground. Now you can hang out here if you want to get a little adventurous. You're gonna continue to lift that foot drop all the way down to the ground, reaching that right arm overhead for wild thing. Couple breaths. Big inhale. On that exhale, planting that right hand, shoot that right leg straight up, tuck it into the chest, step it in between the hands. All right, big inhale, reach that right arm up. And exhale, you're gonna sweep it around and hug that leg, leaning into that lunge. Inhale up. Exhale, sweep underneath, grabbing underneath that leg. Inhale up. This time, exhale, plant that right hand. You're gonna pivot, towards the left. So edge of the left foot is now on the mat. Right foot is now pointing out towards the side. You're letting that hip drop. So you should feel a nice stretch along the left side of the body. Bring it back in and step it back in a downward facing dog. Feet together, big inhale, lift that left leg nice and high, let it fall over, belly facing the wall. Remember, you can hang out here, or if you'd like to try, let that left foot drop down to the ground, reaching that left arm overhead. Big inhale here. And on that exhale, plant that hand, shoot that leg straight up, tuck it in, step it in between the hands. There it is. Big inhale, lift that left arm up. Exhale, reach underneath that left thigh. Inhale up. Exhale, sweep it through. Inhale up. Exhale, this time planting that left hand to the outside of that foot. This time you're going to pivot towards the right. So the outside of that right foot is on the ground. Left toes are pointing out. You're trying to drop that left hip down to the ground so you feel a nice stretch here along the left side of the body. And then bring it, square it back off, step it back into downward facing dog. Good, high up onto those tippy toes your way to the front of the mat. Feet are together this time. And big inhale, sweep those arms overhead, root to rise. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. And exhale, go ahead and plant those hands, step it back in a high plank, hold here. Shift that weight forward, lower down to chaturanga, just hovering. Big inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Feet together. Big inhale, reach that right leg nice and high, let it fall over, belly facing the wall. Once again, hang out here if you'd like. Drop that right foot down to the ground, reach that right arm overhead. Big inhale here. Exhale, plant that hand, shoot that right leg straight back, then tuck it in, step it in between those hands. Left hand is planted, big inhale, reach that right arm up. Exhale, sweep it underneath that thigh. Inhale up. Exhale, down. Inhale up. Exhale, plant that right hand to the outside of that foot. This time you're gonna pivot off to the left side. Right toes are pointing out now. Good. You feel a stretch the back of that right hip along the left side of the body. Then bring it back in. Step it back into downward facing dog. Feet together, big inhale, lift that left leg nice and high, let it fall over, belly facing the wall. You can hang out here. Maybe you let that left foot drop all the way down to the ground. Reaching that left arm overhead. Big inhale here. Exhale, plant that hand, shoot that left leg straight back. Tuck it in, step it in between those hands. Right hand stays planted. Inhale, left arm comes up. Exhale, sweep it underneath that leg. Inhale up. And exhale, sweep through. Inhale up. Exhale, plant that left hand. This time you're going to pivot out to the right. Good. You should feel a nice stretch in the back of that hip along the left side of the body. Good. Square it back off. This time I want you to step that right foot forward. You're dropping it down into a squat. Good. Elbows inside those knees. Press it out, sitting nice and tall. Breathe. Good. Lift those hips up. Go ahead. Grab opposite elbows. Just allow yourself to relax here. Catch your breath. Gently sway side to side. Good. Gently release that heel toe of those feet back together. Big inhale. Root to rise, sweeping those arms overhead. Then exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, plant those hands, step it back in high plank, hold. Good, shift that weight forward, lower down and chaturanga, good, just hovering. Big inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Keep pedaling out those feet. Good, feet together, big inhale, lift that right leg nice and high, let it fall over, belly facing the wall. Maybe you hang out here, maybe you let that foot drop. Reaching that right arm overhead. Big inhale. Exhale, plant that right hand, shoot that right leg straight up, tuck it in, step it in between those hands. This time, big inhale, bring those arms overhead. Gonna come out into a T, right arm comes back, left arm is forward for a twist. Try and keep that right knee bent, 90 degrees. Good, breathe. Good, big inhale, sweeping both arms overhead. This time you're gonna drop that left heel, shift that weight all the way into that left foot for Skandasana or side lunge. Try and keep that heel flat if you can. Couple more breaths. Good, lift it back up into that warrior two position. We're trying to keep that knee stacked over the ankle. Back foot is parallel to the back of the mat. Arms are in a nice strong T. Think about nice strong core. Right hand flips up. Inhale, reach it forward. Exhale, reverse warrior. On that exhale, you're going to cartwheel it over. Step it back into facing dog. Keep pedaling it out. Maybe you sway those hips side to side. Play around with it. Feet together. Big inhale, lift that left leg nice and high. Let it fall over, belly facing the wall. Maybe you hang out here. Maybe you let that left foot drop. Reach that left arm overhead. Big inhale. Exhale, plant that hand, shoot that left leg straight up. Tuck it into the chest, step it in between those hands. And from here, inhale, reaching those arms overhead. Bending that left knee. Good. This time the left arm comes back, right arm comes forward. Good, sweep both arms back overhead. Dropping that right heel. This time you're gonna shift all that weight into the right foot. For Skandasana, try and keep that heel firmly planted. Left toes are pointing straight up. Good, bring yourself back up into that warrior two position. Knee is stacked directly over that ankle. Back foot is parallel to the back of the mat. Left palm reaches up. Big inhale, reach forward. Exhale, reverse warrior. Nice. On that exhale, you're going to cartwheel it over, step it back into downward facing dog. Coming high up onto those tippy toe your way to the front of the mat. You have two different options here. I'm going to let you play around with it for about, 30 seconds. So you can either drop it down into a bottom of a squat, hang out here in Malasana, or if you think you want to play around with it, maybe you can attempt crow. So crow. You're going to plant those hands, come high up onto those tippy toes, try and get the knees high up into the elbows, into the armpits. Then from there, one at a time, maybe you lift one toe off, kind of play around with it, see how that feels. And then drop that one, lift the next one, or from there, slowly start to lean it forward. One toe comes off, and then the second toe comes off, trying to bring it up towards your butt. So continue to play around with that. You can hold that the whole time, or you can drop it down into your squat, elbows inside the knees, press it out. Entirely up to you. We got about 20 more seconds, so play around with it. All right, go ahead, bring it back down, bring it down into your yogi squat. Lift those hips up nice and high, grab on that opposite elbows. Just gently sway side to side. Focusing on that breath. All right, heel toes, feet back together. Big inhale, root to rise, sweeping those arms overhead, gaze at the thumbs. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, plant those hands, step it back in the high plank, and hold. I'm going to try and hold for 10 breaths versus 5 breaths this time. Halfway, stay tight, keep pressing yourself away from the ground, squeeze the belly. Nice, shift that weight forward, lower down to chaturanga, just hovering. Big inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Feet together, big inhale, lift that right leg nice and high, let it fall over, belly facing the wall. If you want, go ahead and let that foot drop for wild bang. Big inhale. Plant that hand, shoot that right leg straight back. Tuck it in, step it in between the hands. And big inhale, bring both those arms up overhead. And on the exhale, twist. So right arm comes back, left arm comes forward. Breathe. Think. Strong here. Big inhale, lengthen the spine. Good. Inhale, both arms back overhead. Dropping that back heel, open up into warrior two. Once again, we're going to shift it all the way into that left foot for Skandasana. Try and keep that heel flat, right toes pointing straight up towards the ceiling. Good. Lift yourself back up into warrior two. Right palm flips up. Inhale, reach it forward. Exhale, reverse warrior. On that exhale, you're going to cartwheel it over, step it back in downward facing dog. Feet together, big inhale, lift that left leg nice and high, let it fall over, belly facing the wall. Once again, you can let that foot drop, reaching that left arm overhead. Big inhale. Exhale, plant those hands, shoot that left leg straight back, tuck it in, step it in between those hands. Big inhale, sweep both arms overhead. Big inhale. And on that exhale, left arm comes back, right arm comes forward. Good. Big inhale, sweep both arms overhead. And then open up in a warrior two. Gonna shift all that weight into the right foot. And lift yourself back up in a warrior two. Left palm reaches up. Big inhale, forward. Exhale, reverse it. Exhale, cartwheel it over, step it back into downward facing dog. Feet back together, big inhale, lift that right leg nice and high. This time you're gonna tuck it in, right knee to right wrist for pigeon. Good, make sure those hips are squared off, even if that means that butt is not touching the ground, that's totally okay. The closer the foot is in, the easier, the further out, the harder. If you have no knee pain, gently drop it down onto those forearms. Be here for a couple of minutes. A little longer here. onto those hands. You're going to lean it out to the right, swinging that left leg out in front. So right foot is still tucked in. Think about pointing right shoulder towards left knee. Each foot, just kind of center that leg down your torso. Big in. Think about lengthening the spine here. And on that exhale, keeping that back flat as long as you can. Think about pulling the chest to the top of your thighs until you get to that sticking point, and then slowly allow that back to round out just a little bit. Grab onto that left foot. I'm not as concerned about you trying to get your forehead to your knee as much as I would rather you drop your chest and chin to your knee. Good. Swing that left leg back around, plant those hands, step it back in a downward facing dog. Pedal out those feet a little bit. Feet together, big inhale, lift that left leg nice and high, tuck it in, left wrist, pigeon on the opposite side. Just like the other side, make sure those hips are squared off. If that means that your left hip is not touching the ground, that's totally okay. Remember, the closer the foot is in, the easier, further out the harder. As long as you have no knee pain, gently drop it down onto those forearms. We are going to be here for a couple of minutes. Just a little bit longer here. All right. Bring it up onto those hands, lean it out to the left, swing that right leg around. So left foot is still tucked in. Think about pointing the left shoulder towards right pinky toe. Just to kind of center the leg down the torso. Big inhale, think about lengthening the spine here. On that exhale, think about pulling that chest to the top of your thighs first. Then from there, allow that back to round out and try and grab that right foot. Longer here. Good. Gently bring it up. I'm going to bring feet together. I'm going to scooch those hips all the way down to those heels. Lay it all the way back. I'm going to bring the right ankle just above that left knee. And then drop it out towards the left side. Bring that right arm all the way out. Or I like to bend my elbow, called cactus arms. Gaze should be across the right shoulder. You can keep that left hand on that knee. Push it out. Gentle twist. Good. Gently bring it back up to center. Uncross those legs. Left ankle just above that right knee. Go ahead, drop that left foot out to the right side. Left arm is extended out to the left. You can keep the arm straight or bend at the elbow. Gaze is across the left shoulder. You can keep this right hand here on that knee to keep it pushed out. Then gently bring it back up to center. Go ahead, tuck both knees into the chest. Give them a nice tight hug. And then from here, gently release. Coming into our final resting pose, Shavasana, just let the toes fall to the side, arms by the side or overhead, which is more comfortable for you. Let the breath become shallow. Let the mind wander. Things like the jaw relax, even the eyelids. Gently coming back to your breath, inviting small movements like wiggling the fingers and toes. Slightly larger, like rolling the wrists and ankles. Give yourself a nice stretch overhead. Make yourself as long as possible from fingertips to toes. Gently rolling off onto that right side, using that arm as a pillow. Sorry, whenever you're ready, slowly making your way back up into a seated position. Well, thanks for joining me today, guys. I hope you feel a little bit better. Have a good rest of your day. Namaste. Until next time.